While Hoover may be released from federal prison, he still has a 200-year state sentence for which a parole board has already denied early release. In 1993, Hoover spoke to former CBS News Chicago reporter John Davis, and at that time, Hoover was 42 years old and had already served 20 years in prison.
I've done my time. I paid my debt to society.
That was Larry Hoover more than 3 decades ago. At that time, the leader of the Gangster Disciples and convicted murderer told our John Davis he had a lot of time to think about ways to stop the gang violence on the streets of Chicago.
One teenager don't like the other teenager because the way he wears his hat, because his ideology is different from his. A disciple don't like a vice lord. We all black people. It's no different.
At that time, Hoover, also known as King Larry, admitted being part of a fragile gang truce in the city and organizing a protest over plans to close health care clinics in African-American neighborhoods. Ron Safer, the lead prosecutor in Hoover's federal trial, reacts to news Hoover's life sentence has been commuted by President Trump.
I was disappointed. I do not think that this is an appropriate end to the Larry Hoover story, at least the federal part of it.
Safer says Hoover was perhaps the most notorious criminal the state of Illinois has ever known.
He was convicted of running a continuing criminal enterprise that had approximately 30,000 members across 28 states, selling over $100 million worth of drugs in the state of Illinois alone each year. And he ran that entire operation with ruthless efficiency from prison, where he was serving a state sentence for double murder.
Safer also told us about Hoover being recorded, saying teenagers needed to sell drugs for his criminal organization. The recording was made a year after the Gangster Disciple leader was interviewed on CBS Chicago.
There was another tape where Larry Hoover said, "You have to share your drugs with these children." And I'm talking about 12 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, so that they can sell it and they can have something. And he said, make them know that with you, they are somebody, and without you, they are nobody.
People have been calling for Larry Hoover to be released for a long time. I remember Kanye West said it, and I can't remember the rapper, but someone had it in their video. They actually had Larry Hoover's son saying, like, release my father, because he didn't get to have a relationship with his father. You know, black people will look at this and say, well, damn, he released Larry Hoover, a big time kingpin. Just because he's releasing someone from the streets is not the big play. The big play is that he's going to be releasing Derek Chauvin. He's going to be releasing all of those racist cops that hate your people, that did something to your people, right? They're going to get immunity. They're going to get pardoned. And that opens the floodgates for more things to happen to you. So while you looking at it like, oh, this is a win, this is a gift from the government, from Donald Trump, it's really not. You got to see the big play in this. It's a bigger play. It's a bigger play than him, pardon and commuting Larry Hoover's sentence, his federal sentence. Is a bigger play than that. And if you're one of those black people that get excited off of things like this, that means that you are a black person that doesn't have any integrity. And you are a black person that, you wouldn't be an asset in something of our own, something just for black people. Because any little trinket and any little crumb that you'll get from the master's table, you would think that it's a win. And you would think that now, you're doing something because they gave you some crumbs. Like them pardoning, commuting his sentence absolutely means nothing. But what it does mean is that more criminals and racists that are locked up now they can let them go and let them be free. And you can't say nothing about it, right? Because you was like, woo, yeah, he pardoned Larry Hoover. But that's just opening the floodgates so he can commute and pardon the sentences of all of the racists and the white supremacists and the officers that have killed black men and black women.